Lichess. Let's start. So opponent is Theophilus uh, and rated 1333. So we'll play the Sicilian defense. Knight f3, d6, bishop c4, knight c6. This doesn't work here because I have here knight e5 protecting the pawn on f7, also attacking the bishop at the same time. So knight a3 to take the bishop once I capture as expected. Let's keep the knight out. Knight f3. Knight h3 is a bad move because knight f3 would have been better. This allows me to double the h pawn of white here. And let's push the pawn at the knight. Let's play e6. Knight f6. Here I'm threatening now to play queen h4 check. Queen h4 check. And there is checkmate at f2. Okay, so we think we're not going to play any rematch. Let's analyze the game. Let's see, we also made some mistake as per the suggestion here. Knight g5. Knight e5 is a mistake. We see rather e6 is recommended. Like this line the computer suggests. But okay, 95 is not that bad as you can see from minus 0.6 comes to 0.0 the position is equal. So here knight h3 and knight c4 is correct. Here h6, knight h3, bishop h3, h6 is also correct. f4 is a blunder here and now immediate this move is suggested to take the pawn. But I played here knight to e4. This was a mistake. So queen h4, king a2, queen f4 was a good try to win the pawn, and then here knight d7 is recommended, but knight e4 is a blunder because of queen f3. And what if I play? Why it's a blunder? Because if I move the knight support here, then queen c6 check comes, and if I play a queen d7 means I lose the rook like this, and that's why king to e7, and finally queen b7 check and 6, knight h7, queen check, queen e7 check, and white will simply just win all the pawns like that. That is the main point here. So, but d3 immediately allows me to checkmate white king. Okay, let's play the next game. Now my opponent is 1480 and VGD. Let's start with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. Let's play the Italian game with bishop c4. Yeah, if knight f6, then we can go for the right lever attack with knight to g5. Knight g5, d5, vd5, knight f5 is the standard line, bishop c5 check, c6. I actually don't remember the line, what was the correct way, but I will just play on my own for now. Let's c3. My idea is to play b4 and fork the knight and the bishop. Good idea. He wants to play knight to g4 check and take my knight there. Okay. What could be a good move? King g1 maybe, king g1. Let's play here king to g1. Play here b4. And if the knight moves, then we just take the pawn on c6 with a fork. Bishop takes c6, forks the king on e8 and the rook on a8 at the same time. Knight b7 is a good idea to prevent the fork, but still I win a pawn here. Let's try this d4 to attack the queen on g5 with the bishop on c1. If the queen moves, then d takes c5 is coming with a discovered check, as my queen is on d1. Black is actually threatening to checkmate me on f2 if I'm not cautious enough, so I have to be careful here. Although I have idea like bishop d7, bishop d queen d6, but I currently don't have the time for that because of this very big threat. Let's exchange the queen if he allows me to do so. Because I will be a pawn up even if he takes the pawn on e5 because currently I am two pawn up. Queen to c2. Fair enough. Let's try here bishop g5 check. Check. So the knight is gone. So there is no longer checkmate threat on x2. So I can play bishop b7 and I will win a piece after bishop b7. Queen takes b7 is coming with a check. And black has no check. Queen c1, queen d1, all is covered by the bishop and the queen. So okay, rook d1 is the thing. Rook d1 is a fixed threat actually. So I'll play just the knight to g2. Prevents everything and prepares rook e1 check. Black just blunders. Let's now quickly exchange the piece. Whenever we are piece up, we should exchange the pieces of our opponents to increase the chances of the win. So here, check, everything to check. I don't know what he's trying to do with that move because if also loses and he resigned. So this game Black made lot of mistakes. Let's analyze the game. The game is already analyzed. Okay. Here after c6, what is the theory here? Let's okay, d6 is the only move here. And, which is like the most played in the theory of pattern. Here bishop d3 is the theory of the best. I'm surprised and we have to check the master. Bishop d3 and bishop b2, queen f3. Is what the problem is. Queen f3, the idea is if you take then just go on. But I played bishop a4, which is a mistaken move. Bishop c4 would blunder. This one is h6, y, and 3, e4, queen to bishop to h6, and black is getting with activity, lot of pieces and all pieces are not so well placed. So the blunder and knight c3, which is a mistake. Knight c3, c3, should have done here to b4, queen f3, and bishop e4 is the best one here. Shifts in bishop e7, knight d2. After this, the game is just a matter of conversion, and I won comfortably. Let's play another game. White play d4, we'll again go c5, Sicilian defense. In Smith-Muller gambit, if we exchange the queen, it's not bad because we have an extra pawn and we can play a knight f6 to hold on that. Here bishop c4, protect the pawn on f7, block that access. Wait a minute, f5, f5, then e5, combination, f5, f5. Knight d2 should be a good move. Bishop f4, right, prefer as white to take the diagonal. Yes, bishop f4 is actually very good. I play a knight c3 and e5 to remove the bishop accessing the diagonal. Let's play here e5. Bishop g5 check and f6, bishop h4 g5. No, they give me a quite easy challenge, so I play f5. Now it's returning it. I discovered. So it is slight step with my king. Now I want to play a knight f6, then bishop e7, and I have to figure out how to activate my c8 bishop because right now it's quite passive and see that his idea is to take my knight and take the pawn on e5. So I'll play here f4. And here bishop f5. So finally activated my bishop on c8. Now I'll play bishop e7 and I will be extending my. Again, white is threatening to take my pawn on e5. I think I cannot prevent now to defend the pawn there. So I will just play bishop e7 to attack the bishop and knight e7 to finally activate my piece. Knight e5 would come, so I won't be able to prevent that. And they'll be taking knight b7. On knight b7, I don't know. Select okay, knight. I'm still a pawn, so we could have played knight b7 or immediate knight e5 at that point of time. I think you'll play now rook to d5. Rook to d7, I think. I'll play 6. d5. And knight e7 because he will play probably bishop b3, which will threaten rook f7 check. But I'll just block that and play knight e7. And now my idea is to play g6, king d7, and connect my rook. This move doesn't make any sense. I'll play g6 and I'm simply better here. My idea is to play rook to d8 and exchange the rook. Knight g7, and now the bishop has to leave here, and after the bishop move I will take the rook. So the good news here is rook to d6, which will protect the bishop. So when I capture the bishop, it is lost. Now rook takes a8 and white loses the rook. This take doesn't help anyway because I have simply extra knight and a pawn. And I also have a passed pawn on the e5, which should be enough to win the game. And just have to regroup with my knights, and my knights will be outperforming white's pieces. And white just resigned. Let's see what the mistakes we made here. Before c5, take, e6. Bishop f5 is a mistake because of knight c4. So what should I play it? h6. So what I'm trapped. The bishop is trapped. White was actually better here. White was doing pretty well and should have taken that knight f2. Ida is knight e4 and knight f6, which we can stop here. f3 we are looking to. This was the final blunder, and here black resigned. So although we played with 89% accuracy, but we made some mistakes as well. Okay, so today to till this, let's end the session here.